Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, how are you?
I'm doing
Where
good.
Are you going? You said you're going to be on a plane tomorrow. Where are you going?
Oh my gosh, we're going to New York City to the U.S. Open this weekend. That's what we gave the kids for their birthday.
Oh, I want to go because, like, Serena, this will probably be her last one, right?
Yeah, and I was telling Kate just before you got on, so that people kind of didn't think she would win on Wednesday night. On Monday night, and then she won. Then she played last night and she won again. So tomorrow night is when she plays, and we didn't have tickets for Friday. So literally, I told Adam, I'm like, we're gonna have to spend like our life savings. They have like skyrocketed. So
I'm sure.
All day today we've been searching, trying to find. I mean, even the nosebleeds are nuts, but the kids are just like panicked over seeing her play for the last time. So we're just gonna make it happen. Adam said it'll just be an experience that we'll remember for the rest of our lives.
Yes, for sure, and probably be paying off the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's just nuts. I know. I said, well, this is why we work so hard, I guess. But it'll be really good. Yeah. So we leave in the morning, and then we are doing they've never seen Statue of Liberty or anything. So we're going to do that during the day. Then we're going to the night matches at 7. And then we're doing Saturday, Sunday, day and night matches.
Oh,
and then fly home Monday. Yeah. And it's supposed to be perfect weather.
Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, I love it. Oh, I've got FOMO because I just said to Jimmy, cannot believe as much as I love to watch tennis, I haven't gone to the U.S. Open. And he said this will be her last year. And I'm like, well, crap.
I know. Yeah, we gave that to them for their birthday in July, so they've been like counting down the days.
Well, be sure and take good pictures. I know you will.
Yes, I will.
So we have a question we were going to kick off with today, and this question came from Joyce Brown, and her question was: when calling through database every 3 months, what would be some information of value for my past clients and those who are considering a move on the next year or so? Earlier this year, I was given the statistics of how many houses are for sale in their town today, and who do you know who wants to take advantage of the opportunity to sell during a time if low supply and high demand to get you the best price. Now that the inventory is climbing a bit, though still not normal, what info can I offer the great folks who have done business with me in the past or new folks who may work with me in the future? I am a referral specialist now and match my folks with a competent agent for their needs. Thanks for your help. So,
great question.
Yeah, great question. So what would you say? So I think the true question is the market's shifting. There's more inventory. What would you send or say? And I think I loved it. And we're going to talk about Mega Camp next, but I loved at Mega Camp. It's changed from scripts to conversations. So what conversations would you have with your database? What would you tell her?
Yep. Okay. Love it. So 2 things popped in my mind first. Number one is her becoming the everything to them. And I heard the statistic at Mega Camp that Amazon is now in 120 million households, and we're being touched by them on an average of 6 times a day. So I would say the first thing is, how can you be the everything to them? And not just when it comes to real estate, but if it's for their insurance, if they need to have a will done, if they need to work on their estate paperwork, if they need a painter or a plumber, whatever, like how can you be their everything? And then touching them that way. And then the second thing that came to my mind is just perspective on the industry and the market. And I did an industry update this week, and you would love this. I shared a picture of when we went fishing in West Virginia and how, they tell you how to hold the fish so that the fish looks really big. But the perspective, it gives you perspective really when you see the actual size of the fish, because you hold it up close to the camera and you show don't show your fingers so you can't see the size. And I told them, like, I want to give you this example because the regular consumer right now, they just need perspective. All they're hearing is, oh my God, we're going into a recession and the rates are so high. So, one thing that I've been challenging all of our agents to share is that slide that Gary shared with everybody, the mortgage rates annually all the way back to, 1972 till today, because that gives your clients perspective. I mean, 2.9%. 2.5%, that was a gift, and we may or may not ever see it again, but they don't have perspective. So I would say that really Joyce just needs to figure out a way to touch them to be their everything, and then give them perspective on the industry and the market today and help them understand it.
Yeah, and I think, Dana, people get too hung up on exactly what they're going to offer or say, and I just don't think that's where the magic is.
Yep.
I think the magic is, and this is funny because you and I are doing a webinar for Sid Walker on September the 7th, and I just had this conversation with him yesterday, and he said what's interesting is what he's discovered about the people that he coaches and he helps to get over call reluctance. It's not so much the calls that make a difference. It's the
Yep.
magic that happens almost because you're like in activity, you're
Yep.
working. And he said it's kind of unexplainable, but it's happened multiple times with people that he's been helping over getting over call reluctance. Is once they start making the calls, the magic is in all of a sudden business just starts coming, right? It's almost like I always say activity breeds activity. So number one, I wouldn't get as hung up on I got to have the perfect message or the perfect thing. I would just think, what are they saying in their mind? Number one, what are they hearing in the media?
Yep.
And how much of what they're hearing in the media isn't actually true?
Yep.
And I don't know if Joyce has ever been through a shifting market before, but if you haven't, I'd talk to someone who's been through a shift before and say, what are some of the concerns that sellers had on putting their house on the market? And I might just do up a piece that I'd love to have a quick conversation with you about the market we're in today and what are the benefits to you from the new market or anything like that. Remember, they're thinking, what's in it for me?
Yep.
And
Yep.
they're having conversations in their own mind. And you got to think, what would that question be asked that they'd be asking? And that's kind of almost like you have to show up in their inbox with that answer. So it might be something like, are the new rates high or are they low?
Yep.
Should I sell or should I not?
Yep.
Based on the current rates. And then
Yep.
again, like you said, share the graph that showed these are still phenomenal rates. Anything below 8% is a phenomenal rate.
Yep.
Or the 5 benefits of selling now versus waiting. I mean, you can pretty much do anything. We use certain like right now in our area, it's a big tax time. So everybody's taxes went up. So would you like to have a conversation about how to get your taxes
Love
lower,
that.
whatever?
Yep. Love that.
Again, like you said, you want to be who they call about everything.
Yep.
So that
Yep.
leaves you a wide variety of stuff that you could offer to them. So I would
Yep.
sit down probably and make a list of who are my great affiliates that I can share with these people. What's a gap or a value gap that they have that I could fill very easily with what I already do every day?
Yeah.
And then, what free conversations could I offer that they might be wondering about right now? You know, anything that has to do with conflicting information that they're probably getting.
Yeah.
I would also say, let's have a conversation about how we have multiple markets going on in one marketplace right now, because when we start shifting, you'll have houses that are still flying off the market, which is confusing to people. And
Yep.
then some that are sitting longer than they had before.
Yep.
So just anything where you can just offer a conversation. And again, I don't think you have to be so precise and freak
Yeah.
out and worry so much about that you don't have the right message or you're not, because activity breeds activity. And I think people
Yep.
will respond. And then once you get them on the call, because there's so many particular situations that you won't know till you actually get them on a conversation to know what's important to them.
Yeah.
Or just say, hey, I'm doing a free 10-minute consult for anybody who wants to know current market conditions and what does that mean to you, and just takes you up on it.
Yep. I totally agree with that. I was just thinking too, we really need to be having more conversations about even if they've bought in the last couple of years, about just buying investments and how this
Yes.
would, I think that that's another big opportunity to touch. And then I also think of Terry, your friend who we had on, and just touching them about their kids and stuff. I
Yeah.
think it is, a lot of it's getting back to the basics.
Yeah, so true. And I think it's one of those things that it's kind of like what I always tell people, once you know what you're looking for, you see it all over the place.
Yep.
But you've got to get in that mindset where I'm looking for opportunities to touch people. And so, allocating time every day to see what's going on in their Facebook, to know whether their kids lost their teeth or got a driver's license or whatever, like Terry does. But I think you also will start to see more and more when you shift into this mindset of, okay, now I've got to start touching 96 times or 100 times, as many times as Amazon does. And once you do that, you'll start to see a bajillion opportunities to do that. But I would say, talking about market of the moment, offering, like you said, affiliates or anybody that they could use. The insurance thing is really good right now. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Have you checked to see if your insurance is high enough now since houses have risen so much? I mean, there's just so many things that you could add value with.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Love that. Hope that helped, Joyce.
Yeah. Hope it helped, Joyce. If not, and we didn't get it right, reach back out and give us what we were supposed to, what we were supposed to answer.
What we were supposed to tell you.
I think that was it, though.
Well, we had the best time at Mega Camp. It was so good to get back in front of everybody. And I will say one of my favorite parts of Mega Camp was running into people who love listening to the podcast. And it just was amazing. I know we kept texting each other saying, we just met another person. We just met another person who loves the podcast. And so I just wanted to say we loved running into Alexis from Fort Myers, Florida, and Kimberly Myers from Murray, Kentucky. And then Rick, you got to run into Rick from Woolrich, Maine. And thank you guys for listening so much. It was just great. I wish we could do that just every month and meet everybody and see everybody.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I teased Rick and said he was our token male, but I know we have quite a few males that listen, but he might be our biggest male fan. So that's why we want to give him a shout out.
Love it. I love it so much. Love it. Well, this Mega Camp I felt like was just packed with information. And I knew that you would appreciate this. So I brought to show you, but I already have printed and laminated every model one pager that they shared, because I was like, okay, this is like gold in a stack, basically.
Yes. And it will never go out of style, because so much of it, Dana, was old stuff that we've done in the past that are being brought back. It's so funny you should say that, because I just put that on my assistant's list to do for me, is to make a book. I want a book with all of it in it, so I can just have it sectioned off and
love it.
Go to that section. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Love that. Oh, and then one more thing I was going to add just really fast before we get into ahas. I just sent Kate the annual mortgage sheet, because I know someone will ask. So we'll put that in our show notes, the one that we were just talking about too. And that should be something everyone's touching their database with for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I just realized I have a sheet, and this might help Joyce a little bit, that has just a place where you can actually add a list of topics every time you think of something. And so I would have that sitting on my desk and just kind of sit and spend a little bit of time just thinking through what are some topics I could have conversations or share information or whatever. And so I'll dig that out and send that to Kate also to put in our show notes.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, what were your biggest takeaways?
Well, one of my biggest ones is, okay, the old is now the new again. We're going back to things that we did before.
Yep.
And then I loved, honestly, I'm so intrigued by the MOFers. That makes my brain really get to work and thinking, wow, what an interesting concept that we can make MOFers to people that have them. That makes it more of a system and a product and not about a person. I love that. And from 72 Sold Guy, that was one of my favorites.
Yep. Yeah, I loved him. I looked through, actually, I was trying to find that model. I looked through some of that stuff this past week, and it was, it's crazy.
And, and seminars have always been one of my big things. I love seminars and events. Yep. So we've heard a lot about those.
Yeah, love that. One of my big ones was from the very first day from Gary's private CEO mastermind. And I loved when he talked about living a certain life in uncertain times. And I do feel like right now there just has been a lot of uncertain times. And I like that he said certainty is known or proven to be true. There is no doubt. Uncertainty is not known to be certain. And then there's probability, which we forget. And he said that's the chance that something will occur. And he said that typically our life is lived in the middle in the probability, and we get so hung up like on the uncertain times. And so he said that every business owner right now needs to know who you are, decide what you want, and then what you need to apply probabilities to, because you can't be 100% certain that something's going to work, and you shouldn't have the uncertainty. So you just need to live in the probability where there's a chance that it'll happen. So what activities do I need to put to that? And he said most people live their lives with a flip of a coin, with just like whatever happens, because they don't know who they are or exactly what they want. And then they don't know what they need to do. So he said, if you know first who you are, then what you want, and then you just follow the best models out there to get you to it. And I was like, man, that's it. That's so it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's so simple, yet not easy when you cloud it with everything else, and you add fear and uncertainty and those kind of things. I also think that he added that part about what are you willing to do?
Yes.
I think getting real clear about what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do is super important. And this is one of the reasons I'm super excited about Sid. I've been going through his whole course, and he talks about how the ego is what keeps us from like making phone calls and just anything with uncertainty. Ego starts coming up even more and more, like limiting thoughts and beliefs is kind of what I tie ego to too. The voice of ego is those limiting thoughts, right? And beliefs. But I just thought about, it's not that we don't know what to do 99% of the time. It's what do we got to do to get ourselves to get it done or get someone else to do it. And I think we need to think more about if I'm not willing to do it. I love the saying Gary used to say to me, Linda, if you were going to do it, don't you think you would have already? That one haunts me all the time, right? And so I think the same thing is here is I think the plans are out there. I mean, gosh, you could just take the documents from Mega Camp and have yourself a workbook for the rest of your career and just work through each one of those systems and apply them and put them to use. But they're out beside each one. What I would put is an extra column that says who, either who can help me, who's the right person if I'm not it, because I think we get stuck and get overwhelmed thinking we have to do all of it. And yet there may be somebody out there better that could do it. Or, sometimes it's just, for me, it's just putting a person's name that will help me get some clarity around doing it. Like, well, who will just have a conversation with me and we can brainstorm about it and do it. But I mean, just from the ones, this was just, I think, one day: sphere of influence, client events, farming and newsletters, social media, open houses, seminars, mofers, internet leads, and MBN. What was that? Do you remember what that one was?
What was the last what
MBN.
was it?
Yeah, I don't know what that one was. Maybe it's just a thing on the Google Docs. But anyway, you could just take you could just take those, get all the systems to do it, and sit down and literally ask yourself those questions you just told them.
Yeah. Oh, that was the Millionaire Business Network. I was like, that's going to be.
I was like, what is that? Okay. Yeah. I mean, still don't even know what that was, but anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think to me, it just showed that there were so many more possibilities and that people just need to pick what's going to work for them. Like, I got so many takeaways on freaking newsletters. Like, I'm big on newsletters and touches on newsletters. And let me find that and tell you what that was. 4 billion email addresses are active in the world today. And it used to be a 7 to 8% open rate was like the benchmark for our industry. And it's now 25%. So tracking what which thank you to everybody who's listening who opens our emails, because we have a really good one. We're about at 48%, which is good. But the benchmark is higher. But this was really interesting to me. Social media is obviously super important for keeping you, what I say, TOMA, top of mind awareness. But emails are converting 50 times more than social media as far as like they're clicking to respond to an email to either work with you or sign up for something more than they are on social media. They're responding to the email 50 times more. And Jay Papasan gave that data, and I don't remember where it was from, but I don't think he would have shared it if it wasn't right. And I just thought, gosh, some of that stuff is just so important now. And if some of these agents aren't getting on that, they're going to be the ones that people take market share from. And so
Yeah.
that can be, that's crazy to me to think about. And then a lot of it, like you said, the what's old is new again. Like I loved all of the sharing on the golden letters, and I mean, we've been doing golden letters for years,
Mm-hmm.
and now like all of a sudden these people are getting, I don't even remember the referrals and the business that oh shoot, I don't have written down who that was, but whoever printed their golden letters on neon paper and stuck them on everybody's door and got 121 leads from it in one day. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just going out and doing it.
Yeah. It's never a lack of ideas. It's not being overwhelmed by so many things that you could do, and just
Yep.
picking and holding yourself accountable, or getting a coach or somebody to hold you accountable to get one of the items. Look down the list and say, of all of these, which one feels most authentic to me? Would I enjoy the most? Would I do consistently?
Yep.
And then pick one of those, and then they gave us every bit of the system on every single thing
Yep.
on how to do each one. So you can't, and I remember, I think so much of real estate for years has been that we've just learned from each other, taken one person's idea,
Yeah.
copied it, and then maybe added or one upped it, or just even just copied it, right? And it's almost so simple, it's scary.
Yep.
But we got to figure out what are the roadblocks that keep people from doing it. And I think one is not not being clear about what you really want. Like the first questions, who are you,
Yep.
and what do you want? And we just start moving, and we get in motion, and then by that time we don't have time to sit down and figure out who are we and which of these would feel the most authentic and I would enjoy doing, right?
Yeah, totally. Yep. I had another good one. I loved the guy. I don't know. I was trying to remember if you were in there for him. The Trey Taylor, the guy that wrote the book, A CEO Only Does Three Things.
No, I had to leave early.
Oh, that's right, for the regional thing.
I did get the book. Yeah.
Okay, I need to send you my notes on that too from what he shared, because it was awesome. But I loved that he said ultimately at the end of the day, the three things are culture, people, and numbers. A CEO only does culture, people, and numbers. He said if you don't take care of your culture, someone else will, and it'll only benefit them. So you have to worry about your culture. Number two are your people, which are he said, the folks that journey with us. You have to better understand your people. And then the numbers, he said, how the numbers are how we know what we're doing. And it's really the scorecard or the scoreboard. And I loved how he broke those down. And then my biggest takeaway from him was he said, to be successful, all you need to do are care about people and care about results. And the minute that you stop caring about people or stop caring about the results, you're not going to succeed like you could or like you normally would, because you just have to wake up every day and care about people and care about the results. It can't be like one or the other. And I thought, man, when I think about really great leaders or great, successful business owners or people, like they care about people and they hold the standard and care about the results too. And that was just a huge takeaway for me, for him.
Well, and you got to ask yourself, if I looked at my calendar on a regular basis, how much of my time proves that I do care about people, I am spending time about the culture, and I do pay attention to the numbers, right?
Yep. Yeah, I love that. He did give a good exercise too. I want to actually want to still do this. He said if you're looking to figure out what your culture is, the exercise was ask a few people who you trust who are in business with you, what do you like about doing business with me? And then he said, like it or not, what they respond is your culture. And so he said everyone's might be different, but he said that's a good way to just figure out, what it is if you don't know. And then he talked a lot about bringing rituals back in, which I thought was cool. And then shoot, I haven't watched this yet, but he recommended watching the documentary. I think it's called The Black Godfather on Netflix. And he said that talked a lot about the bringing rituals and culture into your business. So I still need to go watch that. But I loved everything he shared. I started the book, but I didn't finish it before Mega Camp. So I'm excited now to go back and read the book because he was awesome. Like one of my favorite presenters the entire week.
Great. I'll have to go back, and I'm sure I can find him on YouTube also, and we can watch him that way too a little bit.
Yeah.
I was really sad to miss that, but we had a regional event.
Yeah, he was awesome. One thing else, Linda, that I heard Gary say on the second day that I loved, and maybe he said this before, but I've never heard it. He said, you can have a bad day and you can have a bad week, but you can't have a bad month. So you have to look at your goals and your activities daily and weekly, because it's okay for everybody to have a bad day and it's okay to maybe even have a bad week. But where you get into trouble is when you start to have a bad month, and then another bad month, and then another bad month. And I thought that's just really good perspective, to like an easy way to say that and think about it.
Well, and you can see how it happens because when we teach people the 411 document, which is a one-page document that has all your yearly goals on one page, which is important, so you're not thumbing through 50 pages. You'll see them fill out when they have their goals for the year, and then they break that down into 12 segments because there's 12 months. But then all of a sudden, you have 4 weeks at the bottom where you're supposed to be writing the activities that will make you hit the monthly goal. And instead of taking 1 week at a time and seeing how they landed at the end of the week and adding it to the next week if they didn't get it done, they write out all 4 weeks right off the bat. Well, you can't write out all 4 weeks because you don't know how you did last week. You might be ahead and you might be able to do less this week, or you might be behind and you need to add to the second week. So I can see very easily how people could get in that trap where you month after month you're behind and you don't even realize that you're actually behind.
Yep, totally.
And that's even more important as we begin to shift because it's a whole nother pace now. We got a whole nother speed going on. And so if we're not paying attention, you can be pretty far behind pretty quickly.
Oh, I just found something else when you said something earlier, this reminded me of this, but he said that successful people have clarity on what and where, and then the focus on what they can control. And he said the willingness to be a top performer is the first step. Like you have to have willingness.
Yeah.
To want to do it. I was also reminded a lot about winning the mornings to win your day. I mean, that's just always such a good reminder. I do good sometimes and then sometimes not, but it was a really good reminder to kind of get back on track with that. And I love that he said, a lot of people wake up being distracted by phones and don't make themselves do better. They just get into the rut. But when you win your morning, you win your day. If you can control the first 4 to 5 hours of your day, then the rest just easily will fall into place. I think that's was a good reminder.
Yeah. And we've been doing with this program that I've done, we did a sleep reset. It was real interesting because you had to wake up when the sun was coming up to try to get your circadian rhythm worked out. Oh. And so what you would do is you would go outside as soon as the sun was coming up with no shades or anything else. You want the sunlight on your eyes, and you'd have to spend time outside for just a little bit in the morning.
Wow.
And that's to kind of get your body knowing, okay, now it's time to get up. And then towards the end of the day, like at 3 or 4, put on blue blocking glasses. Yep. And in the evening, put on the real dark ones that block out a lot. And just get your body set and ready to go. Because I think part of the problem is, sometimes we get energy at night and we stay up later, and so that makes the next morning tougher. And if we could just get it in a regular rhythm of maybe going to bed earlier so that we're up early. Because if I don't get up early enough, there's just no time for it.
There's not enough time. I know.
And I've kind of got my trainer now coming at 8, and I'm kind of thinking, I hate the thought that I would even say this, but I think he needs to come sooner because I love my morning time before he gets there because I'll grab a cup of coffee and I'll just sit and think and do whatever. But I don't like it because the minute I'm through with him, usually there's a 9 o'clock something waiting on me, or at least shortly thereafter. And so that just leads right into it. Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like more and more I need more space. I need more down space. I still haven't, my coach has asked me to sit an hour in my thinking chair, and I haven't made that one time yet.
I've been really trying to not schedule any really super important things before 10 a.m. because I can find that I can get so much more done in the morning. But if I get up and I'm starting on Zooms or calls at like 7:30 or 8, no matter what time I get up, I still feel like I don't have enough time. I don't know. I just still feel like
it's that's a great point because by the afternoon, you don't have a whole lot of energy left. Yeah. Your best energy is in the morning. That's a really good point because I was thinking about trying to cram it all before noon. I think that's one of the things you said also, get all the important stuff done before noon. I think that's a really good point, to be honest with you, because your energy mine is at least earlier in the morning and earlier in the week. I also wane by Friday, and I think I've had this goal for I don't know how many years, for Friday to become a lot looser and maybe even be an off day, because I think somebody screwed up. We should have had 3 days on the weekends to 2, because 2 fly by too quick.
It's so fast. I know. I say that every time. I know. Then we get spoiled. This weekend we will with Labor Day, which will be nice. But I'm like, oh, it does. It just goes by way, way, way too fast.
Yeah. So, of all the ideas that you heard, what do you think is the most relevant for people with the market shifting? If you were going to tell them to pick one and double down on that one, which one would you think it would be? And maybe they have
Um,
to answer it themselves. They have to say what am I already doing,
yeah,
and I would even take, let's say for example, if you're doing client events, I would take and say, is there anybody doing client events one up from me? Could I
yep,
do client events better?
yep,
And then figure out how to get all that information and double check that you're doing it to the highest level.
yep. Yeah, I think everybody needs to ask themselves that. I think my biggest takeaway was, and I forgot to share this one, and so I just feel like I need to, but I loved it. Was so many people are feeling burnout, and I loved that he said, when you're feeling burnout, you need something bigger to focus on. You need a new, big, hairy, audacious goal, and it just reminded me of the 4 C's. Like, you need to go make another big commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to so many people that say that they're burnt out. And
Mm-hmm.
so that my new thing, and even this week, I've talked to many agents, and every one of them that have said anything about being burnt out, I'm like, perfect. Then what's our new big, hairy, audacious goal? Like, what big commitment do you need to go make so that you can switch your mindset and focus on that? And I think it just gets you thinking in a different way. So that personally for me made me do a lot of thinking. And then the other thing too, I think, Linda, action item wise, is I think going into this market, people need to shift their mindset that when they're lead generating and they're prospecting. I love what Gary said. Prospecting is just checking in on people. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they've got to get back to that. And I think no matter whether you do that through client events or, farming or newsletters or Sphere or social media or whatever, we have to get our mindsets back to prospecting is nothing more than checking in on people and helping them and, making sure that they don't need anything and forcing yourself to be intentional with it.
Yeah, so true, and that's why I'm excited about us bringing Sid on
Yes.
September 7th, because I think if anybody even struggles with calling their clients,
Yep.
he's going to really help you see that differently,
Yep.
in more of a way that you're serving others and what you might lose of the people that you were supposed to help that you didn't help because you didn't make the call.
Yep.
So I think he's going to really help with people's mindset. So I think he's perfect timing, because the one I would pick is getting back in touch with your database. And then you'll figure the rest out later. But sometimes it's been years since people have touched their
Yeah.
database, or months. And now that starts to compound the fact that you don't want to talk to them, because you sit there and think that they're sitting around thinking that you haven't talked to them, and they're
Yep.
really not. And so I think his webinar that we're doing, September 7th, 11 a.m. Central, right?
Yeah, so this podcast will be dropping on Tuesday the 6th, so it'll be tomorrow. So for those of you listening, it's tomorrow, and we'll put the link in the show notes for you to
Yes.
click to sign up. I know many of you have already signed up because we're seeing the sign up. So I would also, Linda, encourage everybody, those people who have team members, like, get your whole teams and get on the
Yes.
webinar. Buyers agents, listings, but anybody, showing specialist, anybody, because everybody should be prospecting and lead generating.
Yeah, because I think the one thing that is different now in the market we're moving into, is you will not be able to hide behind email and text. You will have to learn how to have conversations.
Yep.
And I love that the whole theme of changing things from scripts to conversations is important, because without conversations, nothing else happens.
Yep.
And so I think for a lot of people, that's going to be hard, because things move so quickly. Before, you could just send a text or an email and it was fine. But I think in the long run, to keep those clients for life, and to be their realtor for everything, you're going to have more and more conversations. So I would say, one, let's get comfortable with why conversations are important, and having them, and what's going to hold you back, the ego that you have that's going to hold you back from doing that. And then let's focus on what the benefits will be for other people if you do have the courage to have those conversations. And I think Sid's going to be the perfect person to help us see that differently on September 7th.
Yeah. Plus, he's just awesome in general. Like, he's just so good to listen to.
Yeah, he really is. He is been doing this a long time, and you can tell. And he's got great stories of people that he's helped. And actually, I was really shocked. He's helped quite a few people in the real estate industry. I didn't realize that. I think he started out in the financial planning industry, or insurance. I can't remember which one, but he's somehow gotten a lot of, in which he got a lot of people connect with him after our podcast that we had with him too. So if you haven't heard Sid, go back. How many, 2 weeks ago we had Sid?
Yeah, we just replayed our episode with him. So yes,
yeah,
you can
go back, listen to his episode, and then jump on our free webinar on September 7th at 11 a.m. Central. And let's get your minds right, because I think conversations are going to be the key to success moving forward.
Yep, love it. Me too.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Great. So remember, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that right now. And let's help Dana get to her 500 goal. I don't even know where we are at this point,
I don't
Dana.
either. I need to go look. We're on the way.
Okay. So help Dana and I get to our 500 goal of 5-star reviews, so that helps other people find this podcast. And also, if you'd have a topic, a conversation, or someone you think we should interview for our podcast, reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. And we can't wait to see you on Sid's webinar on call reluctance, overcoming the fear of call reluctance and self-promotion on September the 7th at 11 a.m. Central. And Dana, I guess I'll see you next week.
Sounds good. See you then.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.